You finally made it. The SSLC exams are over, and dropping that heavy backpack feels incredible. But almost immediately, that physical relief gets replaced by a much heavier weight, figuring out what to do with the rest of your career when you're barely 15 years old. When you're hit with a decision this massive and this early, the brain looks for an easy way out. For most students, that survival mechanism is simply looking left, looking right, and doing exactly what their peers are doing. This creates a common trap. Let's call the first type of student the follower. They pick a specific stream not because they have any aptitude for the subjects, but strictly to avoid being separated from their established friend group next year. Then we have the prestige seeker. This student defaults to the science stream solely to meet parental expectations, or because society treats science as the superior default track. Optimizing your education just to maintain pure proximity or to look impressive to your relatives is a high-risk gamble. Instead of guaranteeing success, it frequently yields severe academic burnout. Every post-10th decision comes down to one central trade-off. You are choosing between broad optionality, which keeps many paths open, and specialized alignment, where you commit early to a specific field. This chart shows exactly how dangerous it is to ignore your own strengths. We are plotting a student's actual natural aptitude on the x-axis against the amount of societal or peer pressure they feel on the y-axis. If we plot the follower here, they land right in the high-pressure, low-aptitude quadrant. When you spend hours studying subjects completely disconnected from your natural strengths, the heavy input of hard work rarely matches the outcome on your report card. The prestige chaser lands in this exact same red zone. The trade-off here is brutal. You face massive daily friction just to get through the reading, resulting in much lower scores when competitive exams roll around. Landing in this red zone carries a steep temporal and financial cost. You spend 2 to 4 years grinding through material you dislike, which usually forces a highly stressful, expensive career pivot down the line. You cannot outwork a hatred for the material. Aligning your choices with your natural strengths rather than bend guesswork with a systematic framework. This decision tree maps your cognitive profile to the first branch for logical problem solvers is the theoretical path leading to STEM. The required input here is steep. You need a high tolerance for abstract concepts, a solid grip on heavy mathematics, and a willingness to dedicate hours to studying every day. The outcome is maximum optionality. This path keeps many traditional career doors wide open, giving you access to medical, engineering, and tech fields later on. But the trade-off is heavy. If you lack natural aptitude for these subjects, you face an extremely high risk of burnout, and the workload leaves very little time for any extracurricular development. People obsess over the glamorous end titles, being called a doctor or an engineer. But a title doesn't do your homework. You have to survive the grueling reality of the daily academic workload required to earn it. Science is often called the safest route, but it is only safe if you intrinsically enjoy the rigorous daily process of studying it.
Otherwise, that broad optionality is an illusion. Moving back to the matrix, let's look at students who lean toward human behavior, societal systems, or business mechanics. This specific cognitive profile connects directly to the commerce and art streams. The input for this route shifts away from lab equations, requiring a heavy focus on reading comprehension, critical thinking, and understanding complex systemic processes, like accounting or historical trends. The outcome here is speed to expertise. You are fast-tracking your specialization into management, law, economics, or creative fields years earlier than your STEM peers. The trade-off is hard commitment. Choosing this path explicitly and permanently closes the door on hard science and traditional medical pathways early in your life. But this early specialization is a massive advantage for pragmatists. If you already know you want to avoid advanced physics or chemistry, dropping them now lets you double down on what you actually care about. It's time to retire the outdated societal myth that arts and commerce are merely backup options designed for students with lower SSLC scores. They are highly strategic, specialized tracks. Making an early commitment to a specialized track offers much higher daily engagement. It just demands the maturity to accept the complete loss of STEM optionality in exchange. Now, the final branch, for students seeking practical skill sets. Look at this timeline. The vocational input is early, hands-on skill acquisition over broad theoretical learning. The outcome is rapid employability, achieving earlier financial independence and completely bypassing massive educational debt. The trade-off is a ceiling on certain traditional paths. This route may limit your entry into specific corporate roles that act as gatekeepers, requiring traditional bachelor's degrees just to get an interview. Transitioning from a vocational track back to a traditional academic degree causes friction. You'll often need bridging courses to catch up on theory. However, the return on investment here is incredibly fast compared to the slower traditional timeline of 2 years in pre-university, followed by a 4-year degree. Vocational routes successfully trade ultimate corporate optionality for immediate, tangible, and highly specialized employability. We've analyzed the paths. Now let's evaluate the decision you are actually about to make. Before you lock in your stream, run your choice through the wise choice filter to pressure test your current leaning against reality. Check number 1. Have you actually researched the daily tasks of the end career, or are you just attracted to the stream's name? Check number 2. Do the daily subjects required by the stream genuinely match your current grades and your actual interests? And check number 3. Is this stream choice completely independent of your friend group's collective decision? If you are leaning toward being a prestige seeker, stop fixating on the future title. If you hate math right now, you will hate it exponentially more in the 11th grade. If you are leaning toward being a follower, realize this. Genuine friendships easily survive attending different schools, but a mismatched career trajectory is a burden you bear completely alone. Your post-SSLC choice is a heavy investment, but it is not a permanent life sentence. Take a breath, look at the data, and choose the path where the daily work inherently aligns with your natural strengths.